What up, y'all? DCFAYGOGUY. We're jumping back into doing our super famous Fun Time Guy reviews where we left off. If you don't remember, if you don't remember, hit the playlist in the link in the description and go check out the rest of my super famous Fun Time Guys reviews. If you don't remember, last year they performed at the Gathering of Dreams. Leading up to the Gathering, I did a couple of reviews to kind of fill in any juggalos who had no idea about the super famous Fun Time Guys and more or less what you could expect from them. For whatever reason, I never finished out that series. I think other music started coming out and I kind of got distracted. The main albums that I put out were really kind of the important ones. Most of them were what they released through Long Live Evil, which is Ala Zuli Lou's label. Not saying the rest of these aren't important, but I felt like those were probably... I don't even know what I was going for, and I just sound disrespectful as a motherfucker right now, so fuck me for that. Let's move forward. So today, we're picking up where we left off, moving backwards through the discography as you will. That brings us to K and Kurt Russell Hangover. Now, what this actually is actually a compilation album. It is it's 8 Legs' K album and Whipstick's Kurt Russell Hangover album slapped into one. Now, what they did with this album is they actually made this a super famous Fun Time Guys album. The first time I listened to this, I didn't know if that was just the whole gimmick of the CD. It took a little bit of research as well as talking with Whipstick for him to confirm that K and Kurt Russell Hangover were 2 separate EPs that they put out solo. At the time, they were working on White Background Terrible Music. Whipstick was having some writer's block, whereas 8 Legs wasn't. Next thing you know, K comes out. Kind of the whole thing through the skits of both of the EPs is that Whipstick is pissed off that 8 Legs did that. It was like a betrayal to him. So then Whipstick eventually goes and does his own album. They took that a step further in this album and added some additional skits that I think really ties it all together really well and really kind of adds to kind of this kayfabe, if you will, that they're best friends, but they hate each other. They can't fucking stand each other. It adds so much to that. And honestly, it makes this album probably one of my favorite releases by them purely because of that. Now, going into it, sticking kind of to the kayfabe, you know, Whipstick, he's the whipping boy. He takes all the bunts of the joke. But in a half seriousness, I do enjoy K just a little bit more. No disrespect to Whipstick. Or maybe, yes, there is disrespect to Whipstick because, you know, fuck Whipstick, he sucks. But I do enjoy K a little bit more. So let's go ahead and kind of dive into this. There are some differences between the solo EPs that came out. More so K than there is Kurt Russell Hangover. But getting into this, there are tracks on this that are not available on the single EPs. And there is one song from the research that I did that is available on K, but is not available on this. That being said, if you have that song or you have that EP, hit me up. I would love to hear Jumpsuit. Features Gruesome. I'm like a big fan of Gruesome right now. I love his shit. I definitely want to hear that and potentially just like on my iTunes slap it onto this that I have. So let's jump into it. I'm going to just show you kind of the artwork. I'm assuming 100% all, bump the tripod. I'm going to assume all artwork by 8 Legs. 8 Legs is an amazing artist. You know, he's the whole famous part of the name. And there you can see the track list there. I'll go over that in just a moment. Or I won't. I'm going to play you guys each of the tracks so that you guys can hear it for yourselves. But we'll go ahead and pop this off. I don't have the other 2 albums to show any kind of comparison between them. Yeah, production notes there. Honestly, I honestly don't know that I would want the solo album separate. Like I said, what they did with this compilation, they essentially made it into a super famous Fun Time Guy album. And again, it kind of adds to the whole gimmick and the whole kayfabe of, you know, 8 Legs went and did this fucking solo EP. Whipstick's mad. Throughout the whole EP of K, we have these like voicemails of Whipstick like calling 8 Legs, telling him, just basically like being desperate of, don't put this out. Like, why are you doing this? It makes for a fun listen, a funny listen. So if you're not fucking with the super famous Fun Time Guys, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. It's great. It's a great piece of work. So yeah, like I said, K, which originally came out in October of 2019, has Jumpsuit featuring Gruesome, which is not on this album. And then the Kurt Russell Hangover came out in March of 2020. They would then subsequently release this version of the albums on September 11th of 2020. So not a whole lot of time between all of them together. And I don't think you can get K or Kurt Russell Hangover on their store. I didn't even check before the review. I'm pretty sure you can't get them. I would assume the only way to get them is to get them from somebody who already has them. Or on eBay. I don't know. But the exclusives to this that are not on the other is Intergalactic Coalition of Mom Haters, Bumps, and Monster Mash featuring Donnie Menace and Buckshot. With the Intergalactic Coalition of Mom Haters being on the K side of the album, Bumps and Monster Mash being on the Whipstick side of the album, the Kurt Russell Hangover side of the album. Again, I don't know how to praise this album enough. To me, it adds great kayfabe to the gimmick of them, being best friends, tag team wrestlers that never step foot into a ring, and they absolutely cannot fucking stand each other. Which, if you've ever gone and tried to watch an interview with these guys, they really don't break that kayfabe. They still, even in their interviews, are kind of like, fuck him, which I think it's hilarious. That's what I love about the famous Funtime guys, is they're not taking themselves too seriously. It reminds me of old school ICP. Out of every underground artist, group, act, whatever that has come out in the last however many years, they've been one of my favorites that have reminded me the most of old school ICP. They're here not taking themselves seriously. And I know I've talked to some people who have said that that's kind of what's turned them off to them, like, because they're not taking themselves seriously. But maybe you're taking that too seriously. Don't know. But let's go ahead and jump into the music. I will play you every track, 10, 15 seconds, something like that. We'll come back. We'll talk about what are my favorites. And yeah, so let's do that right now.
And this solo project you got called K? Fall into a fucking K-hole and delete it because it ain't coming out.
All right, dog, I got you. Hey, look at me, motherfucker, I'm talking to you. Hi, my name's Legs. This moment seemed too opportune to pass up. Lucha, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Haven't complimented the wallpaper or how you smell. It's been a fantasy for a while, only imagine how it felt. Should feel honored you're my first, but not sure if that'll help. I can't wait till you open your eyelids, see my face while we sit. Guess what happens next? You can get hacked to a pack of flesh, then piss on a pile. Have respect. So, why you upset though? Is it truly that big a deal? Wouldn't it be best to let go?
And we just do away with the trouble. Man, I love this motherfucker from his head to his butthole.
Hey, so, what you trying to discuss? Cause if we talking about love, then we talking about dubs with that chisel physique, and yeah, he give the best hugs. Ain't you got a best friend? I don't know who that was. Yo, you bring him up again. Don't give a fuck about what you do and you ain't doing shit. All you do is talk, use a fraud, there's no disputing it. I don't give a fuck about what you do and you ain't doing this. Yo, what is that? Having fun while doing it, you stupid bitch.
I don't give a fuck about what you do and you ain't.
Got my address right, where the fuck you at? Bro, I'm always outside. You can bring your dad and all your little butt fucking biker bunnies in a pack. All you bruh guys need to slap. Man, fuck, I need to dial it back before I crack a snap and start saying some shit that you show the cops with your pussy ass. Man, bitch. I don't even want to be the goddamn person. In fact, I'm so fucking sorry that everything had to change. I just want both of you to grow up and be able to say,
okay,
just sucks to suck, you just suck. God, it just sucks to suck, you just suck. Beat off with both hands, bitch. I'm better than you. Like I don't know my own dick, better than you. If I make a chicken sandwich, better than you. Anything I put on canvas is better than you. Backflip, the body kinda lumpy, looking something like a Tonka truck. Like what Blanca does before the power up. The bitch a fucking Street Fighter, fighter with the power glove. She looking frumpy with some horrible credit. Yeah, I said it, try to give me a 68 and regretted it. Tied her to a lawn chair, pulling out your mom's.
Guy's for real?
He's for real, all right. And he's got proof. He's got it all on tape.
Oh my God, boy, this is great. Ouch! Why does your shirt say ouch? Fuck A Blaze! Is he even really famous? He can suck my dick! What a bitch! Shout fuck A Blaze! Is he even my best friend? He can suck my dick! I don't know! Shout fuck A Blaze! He wasn't even at my wedding! He can suck my dick! the game's over. Spit on the ashes, the fact is this here is a takeover. It's a rite of passage, you faggot, let's get your rape over. Feel those hot coals that you're slowly being raped over. Well, it ain't stopping, better. But here I am, straight cutting the rug. Fanny pack strapped to my butt, it's comfortably snug. I'm trying to reach inside to find out if a couple of drugs got me feeling like I'm Pink Floyd, comfortably numb. But I overdid it, and I think I'm straight geeking. Laser lights hitting extra, and I started off season. Pull a shaft out, rocking like a seizure. Blackout, backed out, come up on the skeezer. Leave the scene with the body in a freezer. Tweet off the parents, it was really nice to meet ya. Tell us it's a hobby, stop by to see ya. Stop up next week and grab a bite of pizza. Sing it, bitch. Blood in and blood out, we started off with a job. Super famous makes you jump. Whip sick makes you jump. 8 legs makes you
makes me fucking jump.
UPS makes you
Fuck up, man. I thought I told you once, I ain't gonna listen to you. No. Now you tired.
Be back to the back of anywhere, especially the way Bullet Cedar Point.
Why the fuck did you shave your beard?
Shits and giggles.
Why the fuck you so fucking weird?
For shits and giggles.
Why the fuck are you such a queer?
Shits and giggles.
Why?
Shits and giggles. Fuck off, bitch. You shits and giggles. Then again, I'll probably bug you in the aftermost. Like, I appreciate your legs, cause life is passing me by. Hey! All that fighting shit, that stupid shit that brothers do will only make us stronger to go farther than envision. Do my confidant. My number 2. A solid prick, I love you, dude. And wanna take a moment to
My own shit.
No, you don't. I'm not doing
I
it.
did your stupid ass fucking mom song, man.
That's
so fuck
besides
you.
the point, dude. Fuck that.
Nah, dude. You wanna play? You wanna fucking do something dumb? I'm
Yeah.
gonna do something dumb. Suck a dick,
Game
dog.
on.
You
wanna go stupid, motherfucker? I go stupider. See the circles around you.
Rope around the neck, hang 'em like dreadlocks. Holy mob shit, coming for your click, bitch. Me, Donnie, 8 legs and whipstick. Pull a knife, blood smears like lipstick. Back to the underground, lurking with the misfits. Keep your distance, don't follow me.
Okay, so like I said, I actually like the K side of the album a lot more. And going into this review, I wasn't sure how to approach it. Should I split the album into 2 to where I talk about K and Kurt Russell Hangover, what songs I like from each one better? But ultimately, I decided to treat this as one album because, again, when they put this out, it essentially made it a full album from them as the group that they are, especially with the skits in the middle where it ties it all together. So, favorite tracks on this, again, I really like the K side of it a lot more, but I wanted to make sure I showed a little bit of love to Whipstick. Favorite tracks are absolutely, I don't know what the acronym stands for. I've yet to really figure it out, but it's very cheerful. I very much love it. SFBFFS. I think it's supposed to be Super Famous Best Friend Forever song, maybe. That one's one of my favorites. Rest in Piss, I really like. K, I really like. Better Than You, I really like. And I want to give you at least one off of the Kurt Russell Hangover. And for me on that one, I would definitely have to say Jump, featuring 8 Legs. So, favorite song out of the 5, absolutely hands down, is K. There's something about that song that is super duper heartfelt. Now, I don't have kids. But one of my worries about ever having kids, there's this natural worry of being a bad father. And this song, for whatever reason, really digs into that. The whole kind of story of that song is, they were married, it didn't work out, they split up, and at the end, he just wants his 2 sons to be able to say that they're okay. Super duper heartfelt, and the part where he starts to break, I don't know if he intentionally was doing that or just as he was trying to sing it came out like that, but it to me was very powerful when he was like, I'm so fucking sorry that everything is this way. Dude, pulling on the heartstrings much, you know what I mean? That shit really fucking, to me it hit close to home just because I have that natural worry of being a bad father that kind of keeps me from, it's just one of those worries you have. I'm sure everybody has it, and I guess that's supposed to be a natural thing, maybe. I don't know. But again, yeah, it just kind of it tugs on my heartstrings quite a bit. Yeah, I fucking love that song a lot. But anyway, tell me down below what you guys think about K and Kurt Russell Hangover. What is your favorite tracks? What are your least favorite tracks? And if you've never heard it, this is one album that I would say definitely go listen to. especially to some of the people, there's conversations I've had with some people that said that they like 8 Legs, but they struggle with Whipstick's voice because he kind of does that raspy thing, and to them it kind of annoys them, which I guess that's such a minor thing that I feel like should be and could be looked over. But if that is something that kind of always bothered you, this is a good one to listen to, especially the K side of the album, because you get to really hear 8 Legs, and it's a really good project that I would recommend going and checking out. And again, it really adds to the kayfabe of them being best friends but can't stand each other. So definitely go give it a listen if you haven't, and then come back and tell me what you guys think about it. I think it's a fun listen, and most of their albums are. So tell me down below what you guys think, and I thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next time.